What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at the rank 4 deck that I have been testing out recently, finally putting pen to paper, checking it out, seeing how it performs in the, well, I tried to do the competitive scene, but competitive EDOPro is just rogue. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I tried so hard to play against Tearlament. I played against it one time, that's it, which is unfortunate. And it was only like a single game, so I didn't even get a chance to go first against them to test things out. And I've literally been testing for like a couple hours, but it is what it is. So I do have a couple of higher level matchups. So this is Sprite Bestial, and I'm going to go ahead and show things off. This is a great, you see this in your opening hand, like I'm not saying you like always win, but you have a really good chance. So this duel is the justification for why I build the deck the way that I do. The idea is that you're going to put up F0 before a light or dark monster hits the graveyard. Well, you have no dark monsters, so before a light monster hits the graveyard. And that is what I'm able to do with this crazy opening here. Bring these back. I just get to bring these back twice. It's insane. They equal 2 rank 4 monsters by themselves, which is so good. So, yep, F0 is up. And, you know, he had multiple bestials in his hand, which is a little unfortunate because now this was the first opportunity he got to use these, which is kind of cool. Yes, like F0 doesn't negate and destroy, but at the same time, I know it's in his hand and it's just kind of stuck there and it can't really do anything. So it's pretty good actually. And if he does summon it and then he like tries to use the effect to search, I can just take control of it, which I think was exactly what he does. You would think like maybe you wouldn't even activate the effect because I'm going to take it, obviously. But a board full of bestials is no problem. And he goes for the Dark Charmer, but I don't control any dark monsters. He was going to try to send something, and he obviously cannot do that. He tries to go for Pot of Prosperity to dig a little bit. Constellar Diamond, man, this card is legit. I love this card so much. So it's really good. It's a Zeus. It's a double pop Zeus is what this card does, because during the main phase you can also XYZ summon this, so you don't have to use the quick effect, and it can have 3 materials if you're going second. I cannot send cards from deck to graveyard. Now obviously the main reason I'm playing it in my deck is against Tier, right? It's like the super anti-Tier card, but man, it hurts sprites really bad. They can't use Sprint, and Tiers can't either, right? This card is so commonly used. They cannot bring anything. They basically just can't get anything to the graveyard that they need, and Sprite used that so much. So this is pretty cool. And I still had Effect Veiler too, which is pretty awesome. So if you went to Gigantic, I even had an answer for that. But yeah, just being able to take control of your opponent's monsters is so good, right? It's just so much advantage for you. This is against Sprite Runic. So not bad. I guess it's good. I got Onomatopoeia in my hand again. Basically gives you a really good chance to win here. I'm going to go ahead and discard Ash. I feel like I don't really need it necessarily, and I don't want to put any lights in the graveyard. I assume everybody's playing Bestials when I play them, because you just kind of have to. Like, a lot of people are. And when you get into, like, the more competitive stuff, I would say, like, the majority of decks are playing, like, the Bestial package. So I can put that back into the graveyard, bring a couple of these out, go for number 90. I can bring back Go Glove. So I had to go like the loop around way. I had to put Go back into the graveyard and then to keep the Gigas or the Giant on board. And it worked out pretty well. So pretty decent opening. Maybe I should have gone for, I don't know. A lot of times I do feel like I should go for 38 because, you know, it plays around like Chalice and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty good. So maybe the objective right choice is to go to number 38 first before I go into Photon Lord. Because what like monster effects is your opponent going to activate during the standby phase? And the more I think about it, yeah, definitely going to be changing that order up from now on. He does go for Spright. Oh, and I had an interesting decision. So he had like Jet, and I think I negated it. And I'm pretty sure he like normal summoned Beaver. The only thing that beat me was like Beaver in that scenario. So I can live with that, to be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and take this. He's going to try to negate with Totally Awesome. I'll just negate, you know, with my number F0. It's going to stay on the board, but then I can just put everything to attack position. 2200 is not nothing too crazy. It's not really great to make, you know, outside of turn 1 a lot of the times because it is a pretty small body comparatively. And look how cool this is. Automatic pickup. targeting my Go Giant and using his Spright to go into a rank 4. I thought that was pretty sick. You know, something that I grabbed off of Future Draco. And then once I have this up, it's pretty much over. And, you know, playing Runic especially, you know, just having number 38 is just so legit. This one I got lucky, and I really should have won this duel much longer ago than I did, which was I made a really bad misplay in game 2, and I could have won easily. And now I'm looking at this, and I'm like, well, I don't have enough juice to get through this. I'd have to top deck something pretty good. And luckily I do. So I misplay in game 2 and get punished really hard and lose. And now I'm like, I'm thinking like, I just lost this match, and it's going to make me so sick for the rest of the night. But you might as well see what the top deck is and to see if you can, you know, keep going. And it is pretty much the only card in my deck that could to make it happen. So it is what it is. I wanted to show this one too because Astral Hope doesn't mean you have to control an XYZ monster, just if there's one on the board. This card is so interesting. It's just, it's a few words, like literally words away from being like an insane card. If it was an Onomat card, if it was a Zubaba monster, my mind would explode. It would be so much better. It's just so awkward because it's an extender, but you already have to have a rank 4. So if it's just this and another body in your hand that you have to like normal summon, it's bad. But I was able to go into Zeus here with my Constellar. I talked about that literally during the last duel, which is pretty neat. And I'm pretty sure he plays Zeus, and I couldn't believe that he didn't go into it. Why would you not overlay into my Zeus? So a lot of weird misplays. I searched this like way earlier in the duel, which is pretty cool. So I can go into Giant, normal summon, bring something back, triggering a glove in the graveyard and finishing the duel. He wouldn't have been able to use Zeus, and I would have been fine, and I would have won the duel anyways. But I cannot believe he attacked with Zeus and then doesn't overlay with his own Zeus. Like, why would you not do that? Why would you give me a body back, knowing that I searched Onomatopoeia like the turn before, and that it doesn't matter what I draw. It could just be a random blank card, because all I have to do is discard to search to, and then I get the combo from there. So that was a little weird, I guess, of a duel. But I wanted to go over it to show off that Utopia is a special summon with any XYZ on the field, which makes a big difference. Let's just go through I guess I'll play the Sky Striker duels. These ones are okay. A lot of spells in the hand, which is kind of not good because I'm going to put up more monster negates. I only have like the one spell negate with Hope Harbinger. So we'll see how I end up playing this. Luckily for me, he doesn't have like any real interruption. He's not going to be able to stop my plays. I'm going to be able to go full combo, and I have plenty enough for full combo. It's pretty wild. And I think I actually misplay so badly here. No, I don't. I think in one of the ones I was showing that I did, where I added Emancipator Researcher, and then I forgot to special summon it before I went to F0, which was so bad. But this card has such a high hit rate. Like I think I've whiffed one time out of like all the 10 times that I've used this card. There's just so many rocks in the graveyard, and that's why I designed the deck the way that I did. I'm not going to be able to use Researcher, but at the same time, if it stays on the board with 2100 defense, it's not like nothing. It's not the worst thing in the world, right? It's pretty decent. Then I just keep the dig in my deck and like get another rank 4 if that's what it comes down to. So I decided to keep it on the board. So I put all these monsters in defense position to play around Lightning Storm specifically, and it pretty much worked out in this case because he's going to try to use it, and then like this card is usually a reserve for Dark Ruler no more, but he would have started with that, right? Because he ended up trying to go for Widow Anchor. So I'm thinking, okay, obviously it doesn't have Dark Ruler or Forbidden Droplets, or else he would have used it there. So I just decided to negate at that point, which worked out pretty well in my favor. Constellar Diamond works pretty good against Sky Striker, right? They can't use Hayate effect, which is like their way to search a lot of things and like maybe even put Ray in the graveyard. So that's obviously a very beneficial thing. And then just have all these big bodies on the board that not really a strong suit, you know, for Sky Strikers like at all. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially because Sky Striker like wants you to go first. So if they let you go first, then like you're really well off. Okay, Onomatopoeia can come down. Onomatopoeia can do its thing, and I can go for a Galant Granite. I can go for Emancipator Researcher. Look at the top 5. Get it on that last one. Thank goodness, right? Oof. A little close there. So I can go ahead and make those 2 rank 4s and just keep extending at this point. And now, like, he waited too long. His DD Crow's offline, although I guess there really wasn't ever a time to use it, which is just really, really good for me. Again, putting up that F0 so quickly is, before you actually commit anything like too serious, is just kind of crazy. So he does have Dark Ruler no more, which is very, very unfortunate. I mean, that's just, you know, everybody's going to be playing it. Hopefully you draw into Utopia or like Numbers itself or Reinforcement of the Army to kind of have that answer for it, but sometimes you're just not, and that's just kind of the nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think at this point. So he goes into Linkage. I'm not sure how I feel about that card, though. I don't even know if it's amazing. But he's got the Ray Area 0, so like he's got to be feeling pretty good and off the top, even Widow Anchor. But he, you can't negate a monster that's already negated. So like he had this duel in the bag essentially like very easily, and man, that's just so bad. But I misplayed too. Like I should never put F0 in defense position because it can't be destroyed by card effects or battle. So if they Dark Ruler you might as well have an attack position because 3,000 attack is way harder to get over than 2,000. It's like a massive difference. So really bad misplays all around. That was a pretty wild duel for sure. Let's take a look at just everything else, I guess. I don't really remember what the other ones are. So this is one of those cases where you just draw everything and your opponent is just has to have Lava Golem or Super Poly. If they don't have those 2 specific cards in the entire like pool of Yu-Gi-Oh, more than likely you're gonna have like way more than enough negates needed to like win this duel. This one's a bit unfortunate. I didn't have any. I didn't have a way to get Earths in the graveyard before I ever put like a light. But even if you go early and put a light in the graveyard, most of the time there's only like a very specific scenario where it like really matters, where it's disruption versus them just putting a random body on board, which is like, okay, cool, I guess. All right, so Dragonar can come down. I can go into Photon Lord and pass. So the full combo here. This guy had like double evenly matched Dark Ruler, and then he ended up using what was it, like hard hand destruction or something like that, and he drew into a Time Thief Regulator. I was so mad. So I was like, dude, there's no way I'm losing to this deck. Like you gotta hit me with a rematch, bro. And he did, and I was like, finally, okay, you only get the 1 out, right? Only 1 evenly. And of course, like after I have the answer for evenly, it's just completely over for him at that point. Okay, a couple duels against Trickstar. I mean, when am I ever going to be able to show Trickstar? It's such a random deck. 2 hand traps, so we'll see how this works out. I always play Crossout Designator for this reason specifically. I find myself taking out Crossout depending if I'm playing a heavy bestial deck. I'm thinking he's probably not playing regular hand traps most of the time, right? If I'm going second, I'll just take out those Crossouts and add another form of interruption like evenly match or something like that. But I'm very comfortable. Like, you have to main deck it because if your opponent stops you like your normal summon, you just lose like 99% of the time. So you have to have the answer in your main deck. You have to assume your opponent's playing some sort of hand traps. But he did completely bust my board there. We'll see what I'm able to do. It was crazy. He had like Extrav, Droll and Lockbird, Ash Blossom. And I think I'm still going to be able to win. So the double Ash comes down. And I just can keep on trucking. So I can go ahead and go into Galant Granite. Putting something to my hand that I want to put in the graveyard. So I can use Onomatopoeia. Unfortunate that he did have Reincarnation. So seemingly has all the answers. But yeah, it's so funny. He banishes it and I draw into Automatic Pickup. So I can just use Onomatopoeia anyways. So very funny indeed. So follow up plus another good card to have in my hand. F0 is probably going to be enough, right? More than likely. And I think he's going to try to get over with Future with one of his battle phase base effects, but he just like can't do it. And he doesn't have anything in the... Now, does he play Zeus? He does, but he banished it, so... I dodged a bullet there, but I mean, I guess if you use 2 Extrav, you're kind of bound to, right? And he's going to try to get over this, but cannot be destroyed by card effects or battle. It's a very, very good card. Very pesky. Dark Ruler no more is kind of like you're out for this card. It's got to be. And if it's not, then not very good. But look at all this follow-up. It's crazy, right? Because I have Go Glove in the graveyard and all that kind of stuff. I was hoping when I took this, I was thinking like, oh, I can use his light to bring back a level 4. Or actually just any light monster, right? Because I have pickup like right here on the field. So I could have made, whatever I brought back a 4 and use his own monster, which is so cool. But unfortunately, the light charmer requires you to have it special summon to a zone it points to. So when I put it in the main monster zone, I just have no way of using it. But I wanted to take control of it so he couldn't get the graveyard effect to add, obviously. Extrav again. This time I'm definitely going to Ash Blossom that. So whenever your opponent plays Extravagance and they're like a real rogue deck and you Ash it, it's such a good feeling when they're down to 4 cards. Because normally those rogue decks, and obviously I play rogue decks all the time. It's all I play. I know how badly that hurts, right? You kind of need those extra cards. I'm going to go ahead and put this in defense position because this is good in the graveyard just in general. And I need another 4, right? Like, hopefully I can go into a rank 4 at this point. I'm going to go for Harpies. He banishes my hand, which is what it is. Not that bad, obviously. He probably should have waited till I searched, right? Before using that, so I would banish my entire hand and I can't use anything, but doesn't go for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up a couple of negates over the course of this turn and the beginning of his. And pass over. With 2 cards in hand, probably not looking good. All of this in the draw phase, by the way. So his triple tactical talents is not online. He's going to add back the Licorice and go into a light charmer. I'm just going to normal negate that, right? Don't want that to go to the graveyard just quite yet. He's going to try to use triple tactical talents. Can't use spell cards. This card is so good. I love this deck. It's so fun to play. Is there anything else? Mystical Beast and a couple of other ones. Yeah, Pendulum has a horrible matchup, right? Hope Harbingers takes their scales, and that's just like the best thing you can ever do to Pendulum, obviously. Gets rid of a scale on face value, but normally if you destroy the scales, right, they go to the face-up extra deck, and they could be Pendulum summoned back, but Hope Harbinger just takes those. So not much they can do there, and when it detaches, it just goes to the graveyard anyways. But full combo, Pendulum's going to have to draw on some crazy... wow, main decking Mystical Stasis Buffoon. Quite the Pendulum deck that you have here. And 1 copy of Spear Mode, or multiple copies. Alright, that makes me feel better. 2 copies of Spear Mode, which is smart, right? Playing Pendulum, but luckily for me, it did not draw into it. And I am protected against Dark Ruler No More as well, and double Dark Ruler No More. So if it didn't draw into Sphere Mode, it doesn't have an out. And that's like the good thing about this deck. Like, I build my boards assuming my opponent has the out. If they don't, then they lose. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? He ended up making his scales, like, maybe thinking that I would negate it, but no, like, if I see you put on a 2 and 3 scale, like, yeah, I'm going to keep it like that. Like, you're not going to be able to Pendulum summon, you know? And I think I've been in that position, too, like, hoping your opponent misplays, and you just don't. And this is against Buster Blader, and with his hand... Constellar Diamond is just an FTK against Buster Blader, like, straight up. So he does have Imperm, and I wanted to show, like, man, he's really holding on to it, too. Good for him. But I wanted to showcase, if you can't go into number 99, like, do you have any plays? And the answer is absolutely yes. Like, there's so many rank 4s you can go to. Your end board just definitely isn't as powerful, but you're definitely going to put up a bunch of interruptions, like, regardless. So I can go ahead and make Researcher, you know, a level 4. Get the Hidden Jewel of the... or the Catcheron, the Hidden Gem of Seafront. And I can go ahead and just get that extra body out. I had to put this Go Gigas back in the graveyard, which is funny, so I had to detach for Dweller when I didn't necessarily want to, but yeah, so no number 99, but I do have Tornado Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Future, and then I do have Constellar Diamond. And like I said, essentially an FTK against Buster Blader, whose trap is sending cards from deck to graveyard. That's the whole idea. And when you can't do that, that's obviously pretty rough. I didn't know what he was playing at this point because I hadn't seen anything. But when I see he activates, you know, King of the Sky Prism, I'm assuming he's playing, like, it's obviously some sort of back row, so it doesn't really matter. So when I have Tornado Dragon here, of course I want to use that. And he searched the Destruction Swordsman, and then he set 2. So if I hit the other one, then I'm good, because he literally can't use this card. So he can't go into the Buster Lock at all. And then I even had Abyss Dweller too. So he doubly could not use his effects there, which is good for me. And then this is the last duel. This is against Mech Knights, I suppose. And I'm just going to put up a really big board, and I think he just scoops. But if your opponent doesn't have hand traps, you're going to be able to go off so hard. And then I also have, you know, Utopia, which is great. Can they just errata this card to say Zubaba, Astral Hope, and then just have this be a tier 0 meta threat? If we're adding things on, you know, like a Rock, Zubaba, Astral Hope, that would be great. That would change everything. But, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully there needs to be new Zubaba support. That is one of the ones that is like sorely lacking in that archetype. Like Go is good, like very good actually. And the Automat stuff is good. The Zubaba, like Gaga code is great because it brings something back, and that's obviously very valuable. But you, like the other ones, you can't use any of the other Zubaba monsters. Even if there is, it's like a very small little archetype. Love to see this get another wave of support at some point, but he ended up just scooping. Yeah, I can't use Change of Heart. Now, he can special summon these, of course, but I just have so much interruption. Like, what is he going to do? And, like, yeah, you'd think you would normal summon Gearsu and get your play started, but Constellar Diamond is there. When you play this card, it makes you realize how many cards really do, you know, use that. All right, and here is that deck profile. Starting off with the traps here, it's Numbers Protection, so there's kind of like 3 copies of this in your deck. So there's obviously the 1 copy itself. Utopia searches it, and then Reinforcement of the Army searches Utopia. So normally you want to use this as an extender first and then go into Numbers Protect, but if you draw, it's usually not the end of the world. 1 Imperm. Imperm is Imperm, but also just a target for Crossout Designator. Your normal summon is kind of like the life, the life and death of this deck. So if you have the answer for something like Imperm, normally you get to win because then you're putting up like 3 or 4 negates, which if your opponent's main going second card is Imperm, then probably not going to be good enough to break your board. Nibiru is also just falls in this category. These are all my crossout targets. You know, Effect, Valor, DD Crow. I do play 2 Ash. It's the most common hand trap in like all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And maybe it's like dropped off in popularity, but I don't know. I still feel like everybody puts this in their deck. And it's still a good card. I always think that it is. So I've always just kind of played 2 when I play Crossout Designator. I guess you could also replace this with another hand trap like Skullmeister or something. But I always just hate when I draw Ash and Crossout Designator. The other ones I can live with a little bit more. But if I get Ash and I just can't use it because of it, it just really bums me out. So I always play this at 2. Ghost Spell. So these cards are like really bad against you. Like you use special summoning from the graveyard a lot. So you got to have the answers for these. And, you know, people are playing these because of the tier limit stuff anyways. These are already common hand traps. So you want to have Crossout Designator targets for it. So like I said, maybe you also play Skullmeister. I'm not sure. And of course the Bestials kind of stink, but at least the main cards are special summoning back are always going to be Earth monsters, never lights. And you can always play around playing lights if you play your cards right. 1 Gigantus is something that you can search off of Galant Granite or you draw it. I always love this mentality of having a bunch of 1-ubs that are extenders that are obviously like hard ones per turns. This one isn't at all, but you know, everything in this deck is searchable through one means or another. Like literally, this can be searched through Galant Granite. So any 2 4s equal this card. So if you need 1 extender and you need a 4 extender for sure, you can grab it from your deck depending on the scenario. Or you can grab something like Emancipator Researcher. So you play 12 rocks in the deck, 3, 6, 9, and then 12 right here. So you're almost never going to miss off of Emancipator Researcher. This is also a card just searchable, like right in the right scenario. It just kind of depends on what extender you need at that time. That kind of goes along with the same thing with the Hidden Gem, which I'll get to later. But, you know, if you have automatic pickup, then when you use Researcher, you get a free body, and then you can just turn that into a 4. So this card has a lot of utility. Since I put this card in, the deck's consistency has gone up significantly, because you normally need an extra 4 when you bring this out. And that's what I was falling into, and then that's kind of how it's worked. 1 Ascended Sage. So I used to have this at 3, and I think it's a cardinal sin not to, but I focus so much on having Researcher, right? Because it's always accessible, just 2 4s, like I talked about, that I didn't need to have this. And what I found when I had played this at multiple copies, yes, it's nice to have a free special summon, but a lot of the times I would use Ascended Sage to bring out another from the deck. So I was like, well, I might as well only just play 1, you know, and bring it out when I need to. Utopia, I've talked about this card quite a bit. Go, go, go Giant at 3. So it's kind of weird, right? Because you normally want to use your normal summon on Onomatopoeia, but there is this great card, Hidden Jewel of the Hydrosphere. It lets you summon an Earth monster in addition to your normal summon. And it's also good in the graveyard. Again, with automatic pickup, this card's crazy. If there's just like one more main deck like Onomat card that searches pickup, it's over. Like it's so good. So this card equals a rank 4 by itself, and that's why I had to add it in the deck. And it's a rock. It works out really, really well. And again, this card is always accessible, but this can also bring itself back, right, with automatic pickup and become a 4/2. So one of the replays, I'm pretty sure I actually showed that. I used this card and Researcher as a rank 4, which is just so wacky. One Zub Baba Gaga coat, so searchable through Onomatopoeia. Again, they're not rocks, so you want to get that high consistency level going. Go 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 Gigas is a free special one from the graveyard when you bring back another Go 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 monster. Go 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 Glove, Dodo Dodo Wharf, or no, I said it backwards. But it's like tongue twisters for these, but they're all very good, right? These two together are just the best combination. Utopic Onomatopoeia, so only playing this at 1, again, searchable through these means. I found out that just having multiple of these just didn't work out, right? You need more consistency cards, and that's what I focused on. One of these, one of it being this card. The Catrahin, Cardohin, the hidden gem of the seafront. I'm running this at 3, like, crazy enough, but there are just not a lot of good rock monsters. So I might as well just have this extender, because if you see these two in your opening, it's very, very good. And there's like 9 copies of this because you have so many consistency things. 3 cross-out designator, like I talked about. 3 Onomatopoeia, nothing surprising there. Automatic pickup searches it and also searches Utopic Onomatopoeia. Reinforcing the army. Dark Rule no more. I played my main deck as an out with cross-out designator, because if your opponent's only way of breaking your board is Dark Ruler, that will lose. Called by the Grave, again, this is a combo deck. You got to have those answers for Ash Blossom, for Effect Veiler, Ghost Bell, and so on and so forth. This is the rank up magic spell, hyper rank up magic Utopia Force. And then Galaxy Cyclone is an interruption, right? Sort of. But mostly is going to be used to attach from the deck with Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. So you get a destruction, monster negate, and then once it's in a graveyard, it's an additional disruption. Very cool interaction. On to the extra deck. Zeus, no surprises there. Number 99, Utopic Dragonar, which helps you go into number 38, Hope Harbinger, and number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Constellar Diamond is one of the big MVPs of this deck. So fun, so good. Love playing it. It is a really good floodgate, and if your opponent doesn't depend on sending things to the graveyard, they're probably playing dark monsters, and you can still have that monster negate there. Very versatile card. This is just something that you're going to be using as material. Also, very, very cool. You can technically use this card. So during the turn you XYZ summon this card, you cannot special summon monsters other than Tellarknight monsters. Not really a problem, because you can, go into it during your opponent's turn using the newly unbanned Ptolemaeus. And then it says, once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card. Send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. So it's just decent. You're probably never, ever, ever, ever going to use it. It's just something to grab with Ptolemaeus, and that's kind of its main use. So not really something that worth discussing. It would be cool, the 1 in 1,000 duels where you actually do summon it for some reason. All right, this is number S39, Utopia Prime, because it helps you go get another material on top of Utopia to go under number 99 Dragonar. Galant Granite searches everything in your deck, right? Most of these are rock monsters. This is a rock, Researcher, and I went over all of that. Tornado Dragon is just a good generic 4. Everybody's using spell and trap cards again, so good card to have. Utopic Sage is your way to get to Ascended Sage at any time. Abyss Dweller, I don't think I have to explain that, why this card's good right now. And then the F-Zero package, Utopic Draco Future and Utopic Future. This is the side deck that I'm rolling with right now, so this card's very important. Like, this has to be in the side deck. Number 92, Hard Earth Dragon. If your opponent is playing something like Eldritch, if your opponent is playing something like Labyrinth, if your opponent is playing something like Dinomorphia, this is an FTK. Your opponent's going to set 5, and then you banish all of them, and there's nothing they can do about it. This card is insane. But you don't want to have it in your extra deck, because most of the time you would have those monster and spell negates. This is Exciton Night. When I know I'm going second, I will probably take out something Depends, right? If I don't need a Bis Dweller, it's all very game dependent. Sometimes you don't need these cards, so this opens up 3 slots right here by itself. Same thing with Baguska. If I'm playing against something like Flew Under Ease, this is the perfect card, right? They imperm, and you only have a rank 4. You only have 1 rank 4 to make. Well, you got to play Baguska, because if they don't have literally Find the Out, then they have to pass turn, because this card kills Flew Under Ease. But again, it's one of those things I don't like to play in the extra, because I'm always going to assume that I'm going first. You're going to have the best chance to win always if you win the dice roll. 3 evenly matched, 2 Dark Ruler, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Lightning Storm. And actually, I'm kind of interested in playing Kaijus right now. I think I'm going to roll with it for a while. Thinking like against Sky Striker, this card's crazy. Sometimes Tearlaments don't end on a lot of tier names. So if you can prevent them from going into a tier name or getting rid of something, right? A lot of them trigger when destroyed by battle, sent to the graveyard. This is just that answer for it. And a lot of the times it can be enough. And when your opponent's not playing a lot of hand traps, or you get that sense that they're only playing like bestials and stuff, even better, you take out your crossout designators and you have a really decent interruption here in Gamma Seal, which is a measly 2200 attacked body, which you can get over with a lot of ease. So that is the deck profile for this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.